Welcome! I'm the Kaiju no Kami, and tonight's review is the 1992 Godzilla vs. Mothra. The release of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah turned into a controversial one. American news outlets started to call out Japan for making an anti-American film given how they portrayed the Americans during the World War II scenes, along with the movie's villains being Westerners. Director Kazuki Omori defended the movie as he never intended to be viewed as such. This movie was just another sign of the times due to high tensions between the East and the West. Anyway, after Ghidorah's release, Toho immediately began to work on another movie which featured Emi going back in time to 1992 to stop herself from falling in love with Terasawa. Okay, no, that didn't actually happen, but it should have. The real sequel brought back Mothra into the new era of movies and introduced audiences to a brand new monster, Battra, the Black Mothra. Omori left the director's chair and was replaced by Takao Okawara, while Akira Ifukube and Koichi Kawakita both returned for the music and effects. Together they made what would go on to become the highest grossing Godzilla movie of the Heisei era and was even deemed to be one of the best Godzilla movies ever made in Japan last year. One of the best in the entire Godzilla franchise. Let's dive deeper into this movie to find out if it really is, or if it's even a worthy successor to Ishiro Honda's 1964 masterpiece. The movie kicks off with an asteroid crashing into the ocean. Not only does it wake Godzilla up from his slumber, but it also causes a massive typhoon that uncovers a giant egg off the coast of an island. Meet Tomb Raider and thief Takuya Fujita, played by Tetsuya Beisho. He snatches an ancient statue from its chamber and the whole temple begins to collapse. I wonder what movie this could be mimicking. He is then arrested for his thievery and placed in a prison where a government official, his ex-wife Masako, and a representative of a corporation called Morotumo, Kenji Ando, come to visit him to make him an offer that will release him from prison. Satomi Kobayashi plays Masako, while Ando is played by Takehiro Murata. A proposition is made for him to retrieve the egg from Infant Island or be locked in prison for 15 years. You know, I just realized something. Fujita looks like he is getting ready to try out for the role of the Green Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think from this point forward, I'm just going to call him Tommy. Yeah, his name's now going to be Tommy. We meet a few more employees from the government. One of them is a man named Joji Minamino, played by Godzilla veteran actor Akira Takarada. He gives us a speech about how humans are the cause of destroying the Earth. Yeah, this is going to happen a lot throughout the movie. I think it's time to start a counter.
二酸化炭素上昇による温暖化、オゾン層の破壊。ただでさえ地球が危ない方向だというのに、人間は平気で森林を伐採してる。
Battra wakes up while Tommy, Masako, and Ando arrive on Infant Island. During their exploration, Masako makes another earthly comment.
森林が守っていた島を人間が壊してしまったのよ。今に私たちの住んでるとこだって。
They come to a bridge and guess what scene this is reminiscent of? Oh, the tragedy, she will be missed. The next day they find a cave that takes them right to the egg. There they meet two tiny little girls who introduce themselves as the Cosmos, the Masters of Exposition. They tell everyone about the story between Mothra and Battra, laying on us 2 more moments as to how we are all screwing up the environment.
気候を自由に操る装置を作り出して地球生命の怒りを買ったのです。
地球生命？
地球もそれ自体生きている生命体です。
我が社の森林大伐採もひどやく。
隕石も森林破壊もなければ、モスラの卵はまだ土の中で眠っているはずでした。
We get to meet Morotomo's CEO, Tamake, who is extremely upset about the protesters he had to drive through to get to his office. He gets a call from Ando regarding the egg and tells Ando to bring it back no matter what the cost, as he plans to turn it into an attraction. At this point, I have to wonder if they're even working off of a new script or just a draft copy from the 60s. We are treated to another message about how humans are destroying the Earth.
私たちは皆さんを信じます。私たちの国が滅んだのと同じ過ちを今地球に住む人々にしてほしくありません。
We're only 26 minutes into the movie and we've already been told this 6 times. The trio hooks the egg up on some sort of tugboat and drags it along with the ship in order to bring it back to Japan, a la King Kong vs. Godzilla. Battra starts attacking Nagoya and destroys their castle. The miniatures here look pretty bland. They just do not look like anyone is even living in them, and the tanks are even less than stellar. They just sit there and do nothing as the maser tanks fire on Battra before he disappears. Godzilla rises out of the ocean to attack the Mothra egg when it hatches and the larvae escapes just in the nick of time. Battra arrives on the scene and both he and Godzilla battle each other until both disappear in a volcanic eruption beneath the sea. Oh yeah, and we had this said during this time frame.
隕石一つが引き金になって地球のあちこちでとんでもないことが起こりだしたようだ。
確かに隕石が引き金になった。しかし危険な弾を込めていたのはむしろ私たち人間なんだ。
Ando is upset that he has nothing to take back to his boss, so he kidnaps the cosmos instead. Tommy and Masako return to Japan and give us another nice reminder that we suck as a race.
彼女たちは環境破壊のメッセージを伝えるために来てくれるって言ったの。それをマルトモの宣伝なんかに使われたら私たち約束破ったことになるわ。あんた何とも思わないの？自分たちの森林破壊で無理やりネタを起こしたっていうのに地球生命も人間の身勝手さに怒り出すわ。
The cosmos summons Mothra and Tommy steals them away from Tomokane in order to sell them to an American for
$1 million.
The military battles the ever-approaching Mothra while Mickey uses her psychic abilities to locate the cosmos. Hey! She's actually useful in this movie. Mothra just continues to plow through everything as if she weren't even a real caterpillar. Seriously, what is going on here? It looks like she is just sliding across the set rather than crawling. Please stay behind the yellow line as the Mothra Express arrives. Please stay behind the yellow line as the Mothra Express arrives. Mickey, Masako, and her daughter Midori find Tommy leaving the hotel with the cosmos at the same time Mothra does. Midora plays Change of Heart to get her father to see the error of his ways, and he releases the cosmos, who inform Mothra that everything is okay. Mothra turns away to leave and the movie ends. That was Godzilla vs. Mothra. Overall, huh? What do you mean there's still 40 minutes of movie left? The movie's done. Tommy will no longer be a thief, the cosmos are saved, Mothra has turned around, and Battra and Godzilla are gone. What more can they do? Okay, Ando also has a change of heart and tells his boss off with another environmental message.
どうせこの会社は潰されます。地球の生命を粗末に扱い危険にさらした罪で。
Now it is the end. No? Alright. So Mothra is attacked by the military, cocoons herself, and to everyone's amazement, Godzilla rises out of Mount Fuji. You think they would know that Godzilla could not have been killed by a volcanic eruption, given that he survived 5 years in a volcano. Unless the Fuchurians really did change history and Godzilla did not return in 84. Mothra hatches from the cocoon and flies off to battle Battra, who also survived. Battra just out of nowhere transforms from larvae to adult stage without any effort or creativity involved whatsoever. The military attacks Godzilla, but they don't do much as the tanks once again pretty much sit there as the planes shoot laser beams at him. Battra and Mothra fight, or rather bump into each other, and then Battra fires laser beams at her. Godzilla arrives in Yokohama and we get more laser beams from his battle with Battra and even Mothra. Jesus, this movie has more lasers than a Daft Punk concert.
Make
After a long and boring battle, Godzilla is defeated. Battra and Mothra drop him into the ocean, but Battra dies and falls with him. Mothra flies off into space to destroy a meteor or something. Tommy, Masaki, and Midori live happily ever after as a family. Oh! But not before passing on another protecting the Earth message.
その時のために今度は私たちが地球を守らなきゃね。
Is that it? Are we finally finished, or is there another tacked on 40 minutes I do not know about? We're done? Okay, so that was Godzilla vs. Mothra for real this time. This movie is just flat out abysmal. It shoves the environmental message down our throats to the point where it is just annoying. The plot is a poor imitation from the 1964 movie, and it does not feel like they put any effort into it. The characters are pretty terrible as well. Their story ends 2/3 of the way through the movie, so they are just left there to watch the battle with nothing else to do. None of them have anything that makes them interesting. At least Mickey actually got to put her abilities to use for a quick moment. What is worse is that this is the first time Akira Takarada has been back in a Godzilla movie since Abra Horror the Deep, and they really gave him nothing to work with. He is just there to tell us a few times about how much humans suck. None of them have any charm or personality to themselves, and none of them are even acted all that well. The effects are just bad and lazy here. The miniatures look boring as hell, and it seems like the military abandoned their tanks after they got to the battlefield, as they do very little or nothing but be blown up. Mothra's larvae form doesn't even seem to be moving, but is either being pulled on a stick or has something underneath it that is sliding it across the city without a care as to whether or not it looks alive. Battra is hands down the best thing about this movie. His larvae form is unique, it looks terrifying, and he puts up a good fight against Godzilla. It is a shame that his adult counterpart looked like plastic gliding around in the air and shoots out laser beams rather than doing any sort of fighting. I also do not like how he just transforms. It should have been that he cocooned himself after his fight with Godzilla beneath the sea and then hatched out of it later. Now this does not mean I hate his adult form, because I still think he looks pretty cool, especially his wings, but the execution is just bad. Mothra's adult form looks just as fake. I also do not care for how small her wingspan is, especially when her wings looked huge in the Showa era. She looks more like a bunch of pipe cleaners twisted together than an actual insect. The legs are way too big as well. There are actually 2 Godzilla suits used here. The one from the previous 2 movies is used when Godzilla battles Battra in the ocean, while a new one is used for the rest of the movie. Apparently it was planned to just reuse the previous suit for the whole movie, but somebody stole it. They managed to recover it before shooting the water scenes, but that was it. As such, we had a new suit for the movie that simply was not as good. The bulge on the top of the head is gone, his thighs are a tad bigger, and the muscles are lessened. I hate the neck of this suit too, as it looks rubbery. Godzilla also doesn't seem to be able to give the same range of emotion in his face as he could before, which is also disappointing. A Fukabe's score is probably the best thing about the movie, and even that is not one of his greatest achievements. The music he used for the final skirmish was as insipid as the battle itself. The Mothra lyrics are sung here, but without any truly pungent music to accompany it. Overall, this movie is terrible and easily one of the worst Godzilla movies of the entire franchise. It is boring. It has some of the poorest characterization in the entire series, and the effects work is absolutely lazy. There is no reason to watch this repugnant mess of a movie unless you are a masochist. Avoid it at any cost, and go watch Mothra vs. Godzilla instead. Well, that is all the time I am willing to put in this mess. Join me next time as we start what I like to call the G-Force trilogy with Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Bye.